Should a solar park be situated in the midst of our countryside, or wind turbines set up around prominent tourist sites? And what about the environmental settings of biogas installations or wave parks? These and similar questions were addressed over the past 3 years through the Enerscapes project, funded mainly through the EU MET programme and led by the Maltese partner MIMA, the Malta Intelligent Energy Management Agency. The other partners in the project included the Lazio region and the province of Vercelli, Italy, the region of Thessaly, Greece, Andalusia, Spain, the University of Maribor, Slovenia, and the energy agencies of Rhône-Alpes, France, and Cyprus. The partnership examined how the rapid increase in renewable energy sources in the participating Mediterranean regions could lead to negative reactions due to the effect such an increase might have on the social, cultural, and environmental landscapes, especially if adequate planning considerations are not carefully considered. It emerged that it is crucial to invite representatives of civil society to participate in the development of policies in this sector, if these are to succeed. The objectives of the project were to propose a shared methodology to assess the historic, social, and environmental impacts associated with the introduction of renewable energy sources systems in the Mediterranean. Launched in Malta in 2010, Enerscapes has empowered the partners to develop and test an energy planning method to assess and minimize territorial impacts that may arise from the widespread installation of renewable energy sources. It has also taken into account the expectations and concerns of the different stakeholders that may be affected by the introduction of these new energy sources. In the case of Malta, the project was particularly relevant due to its specific characteristics. The island presents an unusual case in the European scenario because its territory is small but already highly urbanized, while agricultural land is increasingly scarce. Like other European countries, Malta is committed to achieve the EU 2020 goals on the use of renewable sources, RES. However, the use of RES in the Maltese territory presents considerable difficulties for two main reasons: lack of large, non-urbanized and uncultivated areas, extremely sensitive territory in terms of landscape, history and culture. All this causes great difficulties in identifying broad areas where PV farms, concentrating solar power systems or wind farms can be installed, which would in any case entail strong impact on the landscape. But at the same time, it enhances the potential for RES development within the built-up areas, in particular for PV and solar thermal technologies. These considerations make sense today, while they wouldn't have only a few months ago. In fact, the recent past has been characterized by a PV market dedicated exclusively to the creation of ever more efficient panels, which did not take into account their territorial impact, while being backed up by very lax regulations. Today, a more complex industrial chain has risen, working on components that take care of the architectural and landscape integration. Furthermore, the Maltese regulatory framework aims to favor the creation of integrated plants in residential and industrial buildings, as well as to facilitate the replacement of hazardous roofs, such as those made with asbestos cement, with PV roofing. These regulations are the transposition of EU directives into the national law and are being implemented in each member state. This will generate synergies which open up interesting scenarios for new, sustainable PV technologies. In the past, the obstacle to PV technology was mainly represented by the difficult integration of polycrystalline panels, which had to be placed on inclined and south-facing metal frames, while on the other side, amorphous silicon, which could be more easily integrated, needed a larger area in order to reach a good degree of electricity production. Today, the market provides prefabricated metal panels, insulated or not, of suitable size and shape, which can accommodate poly or monocrystalline and thin film PV modules. At the same time, research has reduced much of the difference between the performance of PV films and that of mono or polycrystalline panels. In the light of the above considerations, Malta presents all the optimal conditions for a widespread development of solar energy, without negative effects on the environment, greatly increasing the potential energy stock foreseen by the National Renewable Energy Plan, according to which the country has to reach a percentage of clean energy of 10.2% of its total energy production by 2020. In practice, Malta presents a number of advantages which have been somewhat ignored up to now. These consist in a favourable building typology, characterised by flat roofs, allowing for the best integration of installations. The presence of large roofs on private or public buildings, suitable for the installation of PV plants. Opportunities due to the presence of asbestos cement roofs, which, being a hazard to public health, can be replaced with new roofs with integrated PV systems. Opportunities due to the presence of big shipbuilding areas covered with metal sheds, often deteriorated and contrasting with the historic context of Valletta. Most of these sheds or simple coverings represent a strong energy potential, in case they are converted into integrated PV roofs, which would preserve the existing volumes and building configurations. There is also the possibility to introduce schemes for private investors, facilitating the rental of roofs for the installation of PVs. The action plan developed through the Project for Malta envisages a participative approach built together with experts in the field and citizens, which assessed several scenarios. The Enerscapes project has considered the following scenarios as part of this action plan: the zero option, the landscape option, the balanced landscape option, the balanced RES option, and the RES option. A number of actions which are being proposed are connected with the change in strategy to diffuse the national RES strategy to lower levels of government, local council, government departments, and national authorities. Enerscapes is proposing actions which are connected with legislative frame to adhere with existing legal provisions, to identify gaps which need to be addressed to enable the implementation of the strategy. MEMA has come up with actions connected with local governance in order to aid local councils at identifying opportunities for promotion and installation of PVs on buildings and areas administered by the local councils. As part of this action plan, MEMA is proposing a number of technical actions to cooperate with and support existing initiatives and programs that are promoting improved technical skills in PVs, both in research and in installation. Once the authorities adopt these scenarios, a new strategy needs to be drawn up. This strategy will need to include revised ways of how to implement such a strategy, using all resources available at central government level, at local government level, commercial establishments, and the citizens in general. The implementation of these actions is clearly beyond the remit of the Enerscapes project. The project has striven to raise awareness about the subject under consideration and the promotion of RES while respecting the landscape. In Malta, the results point at the direction of needing a change in RES strategy to take better account of the alternatives that exist in better addressing the environmental concerns implied in the current strategy. The MET programme is funded mainly by the European Union through its European Regional Development Fund, ERDF, forming part of the Cohesion Policy 2007-2013, Europe in the Mediterranean. In Malta's case, the EU grant amounts to 85% of the total eligible budget, with the remaining 15% derived from national sources. Interested persons or entities wishing to learn more about the project are invited to contact MEMA by sending an email to the project manager on zayan.kassa@mima.org.